welcome to Soul Symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Happy Saturday. It is the weekly energy card reading. What that is every week you, the viewer, get to choose from one of 3 tarot or oracle decks. And what we'll do is we'll go through and do a quick spread to see what the general energies will be like for the next 7 days. It does not need to be the week of May 12th through, May 15th through the 22nd. I almost forgot there. May 15th through the 22nd, 2021, in order for the messages to resonate. If you come across this reading at any time, there may be nuggets of information contained for you. I always like to think of card reading like dream interpretation. It's just getting a feel for what the energies are, and energy is constantly shifting, it's constantly changing. So if you feel like the messages, it does not resonate, you do not need to take it. There's a saying in card reading, we say take what resonates and leave the rest. And so that's how we roll. Now, what I'm going to do is I always clarify using an oracle deck or charms or dice. Today we are going to be clarifying using an oracle deck. And then all of the names and the authors of the decks that I use are listed in the description box below. So we'll go ahead and introduce the cards. We have 3 decks here. The first deck is the Jane Austen Tarot by Lo Scarabeo, and on top of it we have a beautiful double pearl. The middle deck is the Zillich Tarot, and we have a beautiful green stone. And then on the third deck we have the Spacious Tarot, and on top of it we have a beautiful raw rose quartz. So we'll go ahead and give you a minute. If you need more time, please pause the video, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, we're back. Let me go ahead and move the other cards up. So, deck number 1, the Jane Austen Tarot. Let's go ahead and see. Deck number 1, what's your energy for the week? Beginning of the week. Deck number 1, people. Okay. Oh, and then middle of the week, please. Middle of the week, please. I'm trying to take this card. Oh, we got 2 3s. Wow. And I just kind of flipped over. End of the week. Ooh. Oh, wow. We've got a lot of movement here, guys. We've got a lot of movement. Okay, please, 1 card too. Thank you. That flipped. Another 3. Oh my gosh, guys, and look at this. It's like boom, boom, boom. It's like in a pyramid shape. 3 3s. Wow, that's got to mean something, guys. It's got to mean something. All right, let's go ahead and get your oracle card. There are numbers on these cards too. I wonder if you'll get another 3, but let's see what the advice, please. Okay. All right. Oh gosh, guys, you guys are having this is an exciting week. All right, so beginning of the week, you've got the Maiden of Teacups, which is the Page of Cups. And below it, underneath it, you have the 3 of Candlesticks, which is the 3 of Wands. And these are 2 of like my favorite Austen stories too, is that you've got Sense and Sensibility. This is Mary Ann Dashwood, who's a very accomplished pianist. She knows how to play the piano very well. And she's a very soulful player. Like she gets lost in the music, and she plays the music the way that it feels to her. Like I remember in the book and in the movie, Colonel Brandon even comments, he goes, I think that last part of the song was supposed to be played allegro, but you played it, she played it a different way. And she did that intentionally because that's how it felt to her. It was like the passion of the moment, that's how it felt to her. So what I'm really kind of seeing here is that with the 3 of Candlesticks, it's almost as if you have a lot, in the beginning of the week, you're going to feel like you have a lot ahead of you. Like I get this sense like you're kind of excited for the future, but it's like everything is ahead of you still. You know, you ever have those weeks when you know what you got to do and you're ready to do it, but it's almost like, it's almost like you're putting yourself into a mindset to do what you got to do. I know that sounds really weird, but what I'm kind of getting with this is that one initial energy that I kind of got from this combination, it was very instinctual, is that the I get the sense like you're kind of waiting for something to happen, or you're waiting for something, your ships to come in, so to speak, but it's almost like you can't rush the process. You can't make the ships come in any quicker. But in the meantime, you're gonna do things that you're gonna express yourself in like a I feel like you might be doing things either over the weekend or in the beginning of the week that are very emotionally expressive. The Page of Cups is really about like it's kind of having your heart on your sleeve in all the right ways, in all the innocent and kind of sweet ways. Like if you've ever said something to someone just straight from your heart, like you didn't care if it sounded immature, you didn't care if it was how you really felt, is what I'm kind of seeing here. And so the two ways I kind of read this is that maybe you have been kind of waiting for something to happen, or if it's work related, it's almost like, okay, I've got stuff going on this week, but it's not happening to the end of the week, so I can't make it. I can't make the end of the week come any quicker. But in the meantime, I'm gonna emote. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna express myself. The other thing that I kind of get is that maybe you are doing something kind of creative over the weekend. And I do get a little bit of a sense of longing here, though, guys. And I hope that. I hope this resonates, because this is a little bit of a different energy. Because Mary Ann Dashwood, she in the beginning, she plays because she wants to, emote with the music. And then later in the movie, she plays because she was kind of, getting over a broken heart. And then in the Three of Wands, that is the story of persuasion. And in Persuasion, Frederick Wentworth proposes to Anne, and at first she breaks off their engagement and kind of breaks his heart. And what he does is he goes away with the Navy on a trip for like 8 years. And here you kind of see, this looks as if he's already like out at sea with his, I don't know what they call it in the Navy. I'm sorry. This is British Navy too, so I really don't know what you call that. But when you're actually deployed and out there with the boats, for a few of you, just to throw it out there, a few of you might actually have somebody who's in the military, in the Navy, and it's almost like, it's almost like you're thinking about one another. Like the one person is waiting to come home, like he has miles to go, he has more to do before he can come home to her. And then she's just like we said, you can't rush the process, you can't make them come back any faster, but you can try to be creative or productive or emotive. One other thing that I'm kind of getting here is maybe something about music is really like something about music, because in this scene he's on a boat, which is water, and this is the Maiden of Teacups, which is also water. So I do get the sense that maybe you're kind of speaking through music. And actually there is a little bit of a cup here. I'm not sure what's inside the cup, but so there might be something that you might be really kind of expressing yourself through music. Maybe if what I'm getting is, I'm getting like a sense like you're you're expressing yourself either through song lyrics or actual music, and it's really having like an impact, but it's very from the soul. Like you're not concealing. That's the other thing about Marianne Dashwood. She did not conceal how she felt. She was a very passionate soul. She was a very open and vibrant woman. And she, if she felt something, you knew it, you know. But that's interesting, guys. I do almost get a sense like, you know, I do get, maybe there's something that has to do with music. Or maybe you're posting lyrics from songs or posting actual music, um, because you feel like you're waiting. Or, but I am getting kind of like, in response to you waiting, this is how you feel. So, um, you know. I know this sounds so corny. I actually discovered that here on YouTube there's a channel for the old 80s TV show Unsolved Mysteries. And I know that's so cornball, but I seriously, I can marathon that show, y'all. I can sit there and watch it for like hours. And there was, you know how they do stories about lost loves, and they did this one really, really sweet, heart-touching story about two girls in the 60s who were in the same hospital. Like when they were young, they both, you know, suffered from different illnesses, you know, different types of cancer, unfortunately. And both women survived, but they were best friends. And when they were little, the one girl said, "I'm going to name my child after you someday." And then the girls later reconciled, and she had been true to her word. She named her child after the friend that she had met. And what makes me think of this, sorry for a long story, but what makes me think of that is that, with the Maiden of Teacups, again, if you watch the How to Tarot here on my channel about the Page of Cups, they're very open. It's almost like they say things so candidly, like, but it's so sweet. When the two women met again, the lady walked up to the door, and of course, both of these women had, childhood cancer. So that's very scary. Then, that's hard sometimes. You don't know if she didn't even know if the other person had survived, right? So when she saw her, she was just so excited, and it was a real Page of Cups moment, because she goes, "I am so glad that you are alive, and I am so glad that you are in my life." And to say something like that, and when you're a grown person and you just say something, doesn't that sound like, just like, it sounds like it's from the mouth of a 6-year-old child. It's just, there's no barrier there. So that's the kind of energy you're in. Sorry, guys, long story short. Now, by the middle of the week, this is really interesting. We have another music card and we have another piano. So the other thing that I'm seeing here is it's quite possible if you play the piano, it's quite possible that you're playing with other people. Or you're practicing with other people. That's possible. I mean, we're at the tail end of pandemic mode. We still want to be careful, but what I'm kind of seeing here is, you got the Three of Teacups, which is really, really kind of a party card. It's a little bit of, it's a fun card. It's like getting together with people. And what I'm kind of seeing here is, with it being the Three of Cups, and with it being three women here, underneath it we have the Knight of Candlesticks and we have the Maiden of Candlesticks. And the Maiden of Candlesticks is that's another maiden. That's another page, guys. That's another page. What I see is that it's quite possible that maybe whatever you're doing, might be kind of bringing in other people. And this can be in the social media realm. It doesn't necessarily have to be in face to face. I am almost getting kind of a face to face here, but with the Knight of Candlesticks and the Page of Wands, it's almost like you're throwing yourself headfirst into something. The other thing that I kind of get is that maybe, you know how sometimes when you can take something that's sorrowful, something that's sad that's happening to you, and you say, okay, I'm tired of being sad. Let me start making origami figurines. And then you start posting pictures of origami figurines, and then all of a sudden people's like, oh my god, those are so cute. And then you start congregating and having fun with other people. that's the kind of vibe I'm getting here, guys. It's almost like by the middle of the week, you were sad about something. You were waiting, and you were just like, you were just almost like a bird in a cage. You were like singing or doing something to kind of exercise your soul. And then by the middle of the week, it's almost like everyone's like, "Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Let me join in." Let me join in. And the other thing I kind of get is that with it could be one other friend specifically, like if you have a fire sign friend, because the Knight of Candlesticks is a real fast moving energy, and the Maiden of Candlesticks is really about like getting excited about something. So this could either be your energy where other people are joining in and you're excited, like you feel like whatever you're doing is really productive, and it's giving you kind of that jazzed up feeling. Um, Either that, or if this is not your energy, it's someone coming towards you, and that can be another friend who's attracted to what you're doing. I really do think it's related, because this music and it's all being cups and 2 pages. The other thing that I kind of get is with this being 3 people, this also could potentially be, if you're a mom, this could be the energy of your child. And what's happening is, your one child is doing something, and this could be a young adult, it could be like a teenager, starts getting into something, and then it brings the attention of this other young adult, but then you see someone who's a little bit older. So this could be 2 teenagers and maybe someone in kind of their early 20s. Um, and it just because it's a knight doesn't mean that it has to be masculine. It can be 3 feminines here. So this could be you and 2 other friends. The other thing is, just because these are pages doesn't mean that they're children. Sometimes if it's not pertaining to children, it can be your energy, and you're just like, I see this as being like stupid excited about something is what I'm seeing. Like that real, like, oh my God, this is cool. Um, I don't know. Maybe you start singing this song and your friend's like, "Oh my God, girlfriend, that would be so perfect for TikTok." And then they all come over, and before you know it, you're practicing in your garage. Something like that, right? And I see that. The other thing is, I kind of get an element, it might be social media related, because one person is kind of looking in the mirror, and it's almost like they're making sure they look pretty enough, like they look good, you look good, you know? One other thing that I kind of get from this is that maybe you are gathering with friends, and it can be virtually. I can kind of get, and what it is like, if this is separate energy, maybe you've been kind of waiting and wanting for something, and kind of doing your own internal kind of creative thing, and then but by the middle of the week you might have some kind of virtual event where you'll actually see people, possibly even talk to people about what you've been doing, and you're excited about it. But the other thing is, I am getting kind of a vibe, like it's almost like I'm getting a vibe like you want to make sure that you look pretty. And the other thing that I kind of get is that with, honestly, with the mirror only showing her from the waist up, I am kind of, and with the fact that the apron is kind of on the front side of her dress, I am kind of getting that, this is terrible, guys, but I am kind of getting that Zoom meeting, like where I can look immaculate from the waist up. My makeup is perfect, but I could be wearing some total sweatpants underneath the table, and that's fine. Um, but I am kind of getting that vibe, like almost like you want to look pretty because you've got some kind of event, some kind of gathering. But it could be related to what you're doing, because we've got 2 pianos here, guys. I know there's a lot of piano fortes in Jane Austen, but that is the synchronicity. Now, this is fun, guys. By the end of the week, you got yet another 3. And this is so cool. But and what we have is we've got the Chariot, and that is also Lydia Bennett. This is Lydia Bennett. That's Lydia Bennett. And the Three of Pentacles is really about collaboration between people, but with it being Pentacles, it's a little bit more of a practical thing. It is entirely possible, guys, that something that you kind of started on like a whim, or just as a personal inspiration you might have shared with others, and this might have sparked off a really great, like, encouraging idea, like something that you can share with others to make other people feel better, to make other people feel good. And then by the end of the week, it's almost like it's really taking off. One thing that I kind of see is that with the Chariot, Um, the beautiful thing about the chariot, first off, that's major arcana, so that's a major change. That's, this could be an indicator of something that you can kind of do that would make a really big impact in both your life and the lives of others. But the other thing that I kind of see with the chariot is in the traditional tarot, you see two horses trying to go opposite directions, but then you have the chariotor, uh, reining them in and using like the propulsion, like using the force of both horses to move straight ahead. It's almost like you're harnessing the force of opposing energies to go forward fast and for movement, to get out of a stuck energy. So instead of, going nowhere with two horses going opposite directions, you're going forward even faster. Um, in astrology, there's when you look at what we call a square aspect, like when you have two planets that are like opposite, like Capricorn and Libra, or actually these are squares, Pisces and Sagittarius. A lot of times people look at squares as being like a bad energy, like, oh, the moment you have a square with someone that it's just doomed. No, a square is, I read a great book, and I forget which astrologer said this, but a great astrologer that I had read a book of, they said that squaring energy is like, it's like that friction in a car engine. You know how when you start up your car and you hear that, that is friction. Those are gears sparking to get the engine to turn over. That's exactly what chariot energy is, and actually, it's the sign that rules the chariot is Cancer, which is another water thing. Um, but I think you're taking the force of some kind of personal sorrow, and instead of wallowing in it, instead of letting you get you down, you're going to use it to propel yourself forward. Like, it's almost like you're reining in your sad energy, and you're reining in your excitement, like your vigor for life, and making you go in the same direction. And by the end of the week, it's almost like you have the cooperation of other people to help you. Now, one other way I can kind of see it is maybe you are kind of throwing yourself into some kind of project, but I'm definitely seeing groups of people here. Um, um, but by the end of the week, the other thing that I kind of get is that maybe if this is like different energy from work and home, maybe you did kind of start off the week feeling a little bit kind of like, very sensitive, very emotive. And then something that you're doing or sharing with others is really bringing a lot of joy. And what that's doing is that's giving you momentum. So it's giving you the ability to cooperate with people very well, like you're communicating. But the other thing I get is that this could be turning into something kind of lucrative, like sometimes the universe kind of throws you hurdles in order to, when you're able to use that energy, just like the chariot, when you're able, instead of looking at it as two horses going opposite directions, when you're able to say, okay, let's use this opportunity to go forward. I get the sense that it's helping you cooperate with other people, and it's also bringing forth people who want to cooperate with you. Either that or whatever you have going on in your downtime, you're refusing to let anything get you down. The other thing I get is a lot of really exciting energy. Like, all of this is really exciting energy, but I feel like by the end of the week, it's gonna, I'm sorry, I'm hearing that song, Ain't No Stopping Us Now. Like, there is no stopping you now. And I think that you really do have the cooperation of other people. The other thing I kind of get is that the Three of Pentacles is really that teamwork makes the dream work kind of card. Like, when everybody does their part, everything goes, and it benefits the whole. So this could be, again, this could be something that you were going through personally. That I'm not saying that you're going to bring your energy to work, but you know how when you are happy at home, you bring a positive energy to your work environment too. It's just, you're in a good mood, you're in an exciting mood. But But by the end of the week, with this being the Chariot and it being a major arcana, I do think that I get the sense like you're turning your lemons into lemonade. And I think that you either have a lot of social support from your friends, and you'll definitely see that by the middle of the week. Either that or the what your expression is attracting, other people. You, I always say when I started doing tarot, I've met other really great tarot readers, and I felt like I had met my tribe. And that's what I'm kind of feeling here. Like, by you just expressing yourself, you're going to attract your tribe. And I think you're going to see that presence really strongly this week. And it's almost like by the end of the week, you're going to feel like you have a very clear path forward. And you're not going to feel like you're waiting anymore. You're going to feel like you can actually move forward, which is really, really exciting. And the other thing is that you've got other people who want to help you do this. Like, again, teamwork makes the dream work, and there's no stopping you once you get started. So this is gorgeous energy, guys. One other way I can kind of see it is, especially with Mr. Elton here, if this is kind of, if just to touch on the relationship side a little bit, if you were waiting for someone to like talk to you or pay attention to you, it's almost like in the beginning of the week you were kind of pining for them. Then by the middle of the week you're like, okay, screw this, I'm tired of being at home, I'm going to call up my girls. And then by the end of the week you're having so much fun, and you've got these like projects started that are really, really, and then the person that you were waiting to like call you is kind of, you see Mr. Elton kind of standing at the side, kind of like, hey, can I help? And you're just like, oh, who are you? And it's not in a mean way. It's just you are so focused on what you're doing, and it's full speed ahead. Now this is really beautiful, guys. You did not get another number 3, but you got a number 2 for spirit. And normally in the Chariot there are 2 horses, so that kind of, and you got your higher self. And look at that, guys. I know this sounds so hokey. It sounds so like cheeseball. But I do think that you are going to be finding your higher self this week. Like, I really do think there's going to be points where you don't care if it looks childish. It's what you feel. It's almost like you're letting your heart out, like you're letting your heart shine. The other thing is, with all this light, I really get a sense of like a light worker, guys. I get the sense of a light worker. Um, and I think that you're so open and so honest about things. The way you say things is just very encouraging to people. And but definitely by the end of the week, this is gorgeous energy, guys. And the Chariot, the thing about the Chariot is it's a little bit, it is pulling, it's like using your willpower to to rein in the horses. But it's exciting, though. It's really exciting, and you're moving forward. You're also you're choosing to move past any sadness. The thing about threes is that, the ace, the ones are the aces. Those are the start of something. The two is like 2 legs, or like a bicycle, right? Once you get to the three is the expansion of that energy, right? The other thing I kind of see here is that, these are groups of people. You're beyond just one-on-one. You're not dealing one-on-one anymore. You're dealing, with with an environment. So, but wow, guys, oh my gosh, that's a really exciting read. It's funny, I'm always a little, today in particular was a little bit of a long day, and I was feeling a little groggy, and now I'm all jazzed up after your reading. This is exciting. You got like the Page of Cups, Page of Wands. All right, guys, so deck number 2, oh, right off the cuff, 3 of Wands, Holy Toledo, in the first position. We're going to take it. It popped on out. So, okay, thank you. Temperance. Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay, middle of the week. End of the week. Okay, please clarify. Okay, let's go ahead and get your oracle card. you got the angel of the four directions. Okay, wow, guys. You kind of got bookends of major arcana here. So I always say it's when a major arcana shows up in a read, it doesn't mean like an asteroid is going to come out of the sky and hit you in the head or anything like that. It's nothing crazy. It just means that you're going to be feeling. I always think of major arcanas as being the bigger gears of a clock. When the big gears turn, they turn the medium-sized gears, which turn the smaller gears. So the bigger life events of your life, graduating school, getting a new job, getting married, having kids, those turn the smaller gears of your years, your months, your days, your hours, right? Your everyday, minute-to-minute experiences. So what's happening is anytime you see a major like that, it just means that, okay, you're going to be feeling the echo of some kind of bigger life experience. You're going to be feeling it a little bit more predominantly in the beginning of the week and in the end of the week. So what I kind of see here is we got the Three of Wands, and then underneath it we got Temperance. Now the Three of Wands in this deck is very different. I always take the artwork into consideration. Now in the Three of Wands is usually about, I always see the Three of Wands as being kind of a trailblazing card. We did How to Tarot on it. If you ever want to check that out, that one is a good one to watch. I might even post the link just because we've had the Three of Wands pop up a few times here. But here you see someone who looks like they're kind of holding their head, right? They either look a little perplexed or a little bored. Possibly a little like, I always think of that I know this is so silly, I'm a goofy person, guys. I always think of that Winnie the Pooh when he goes think, so but here I definitely kind of get the sense, and it does say virtue, right? So virtue. And with it being temperance really talks about tempering the water. Like, when water is too acidic, you gotta mix a little bit. It's like finding the right balance with something, right? But here, what I kind of get is, I know this sounds a little funny, but I get the sense like either over the weekend or by the beginning of the week, you might be kind of holding back from something or someone. There's some kind of situation that you kind of want to balance out. This could be with a friend, it could be with a family member, it can be with work. But it's almost like you're kind of thinking, you're leaning back and you're kind of waiting for a resolution to something. I know that sounds funny. But the other thing I kind of get is that temperance is really about, is a very peaceful action. Like, it's not, you see the person pouring water from cup to cup, and it's not really dramatic motions. It's very, very gradual. It's very gentle. It's recalibration. So what I kind of see, especially with temperance being the root here, is that it could be possible that you might be waiting to make something right with somebody. I know that sounds a little funny, but that's what I'm kind of getting, because it's almost like you're leaning back and you're thinking. And the Three of Wands of waiting for your ships to come in. It is waiting for something to happen. But when temperance is in the mix, not to sound funny, guys, but I almost get the sense like maybe you haven't been talking to someone. Because you're thinking about the right words to say, or you're thinking about, okay, it's almost like you're thinking ahead to the future. Okay, when I see this person in the parking lot, I'm going to walk up to him, I'm going to say, oh, hey, I'm so sorry we fought, blah, blah, blah. It's almost like I am also getting a little bit of a procrastination vibe. I'm sorry, no offense. We all do it, we all do it. There's definitely been situations where I want to make sure, that I don't make the situation any worse. So it's almost like you lean back and you wait, you kind of like wait. And think, okay, maybe this will give the other person time to calm down, or maybe, I need more time, right? I just need more time to kind of figure out what I'm going to say, what my game plan is. But what I'm kind of getting is that either either some kind of distance someone has had from you is balancing out, like it's giving you the space and time to either calm down or for things to become more on the level. Either that, or you have at the beginning of the week, you're really feeling like that a lot of time has passed, and you're almost like you're waiting for something to become balanced, but it's almost like this could be related to world events, guys. Like maybe you haven't been able to like go and see somebody face to face, or had the opportunity to see somebody face to face because of the pandemic world. And but that distance, it's almost like, okay, I need, it's almost like the universe giving you that time and space. And I know that sounds crazy because, I mean, of course, world events are everything's been really sad for a long time. It's been very scary. It's causing so much anxiety. So I'm not saying that world events are good in any way, shape, or form, but the side effects of it, right? People driving less. You've seen the weather get better. You've seen, the the fallout from what's been happening has been kind of shining a light on ways things can be done differently. And what I'm kind of seeing here is that it's quite possible that maybe, and I do feel like this is related to a person, that there's someone that you've been kind of waiting to get back in touch with, but it's almost like world events or whatever has been separating you has been kind of like a gift from the universe, because it's given you time to kind of think about how you want. I do get the sense like you have to make something right with somebody. And but it's almost like the universe is kind of, you've been sitting and waiting. I'm getting a waiting vibe. Um, and I also get the sense like a few times it's been a little frustrating, like why do I have to wait so long? But things are leveling out. It gives you, the other thing I get is that it gives you time to kind of think with a clear head. It gives you time. And I feel like this is like an angel, right? Like in Temperance, the Temperance card, it's an angel. It's a celestial being, doing the mixing. So I do feel like it's God in the universe trying to, the other thing I kind of get is that maybe in the beginning of the week, maybe you're feeling like, like you've been waiting and watching, and nothing's been happening. But the universe wants to let you know things are happening. Things are leveling out behind the scenes. And it's almost like it's being done for you. So I get the sense that you might feel like you're kind of waiting, either that, or if you've been imagining, like if there's someone that you kind of need to level things out with, it's almost like you're going to be looking forward to doing that at the beginning of the week. Either that, or in your head, you're kind of, again, this kind of looks like a thinking motion. You might be mapping out what you're going to do, you know. Now, one other thing, just real quick, because we do have the Five of Swords at the end of the week. Um, um, wow, even with your oracle card, there's a lot of like, I'm getting, the imagery is a lot of just, look at me, I'm glorious, right? The glory of me, right? And I don't mean that in a condescending way. I'm just saying, like, one other thing that I'm kind of sensing here, guys, is that there might be something that's kind of coming to light in the middle of the week. There might be either some kind of public event or some kind of public announcement about you that someone else might not be aware of. And you might feel like, oh God, if this person, sees me, like, I'll just use the scenario. Maybe you broke up with someone and you started dating someone new, and in the middle of the week, there's going to be some posts on Facebook showing you together, showing that you're in this glorious new relationship, or you're making it Instagram official or something, and then the other person's going to feel like you defeated them, right? And you're going to be looking like the victorious one. I'm not saying that's just one example. another example is like maybe you got some kind of promotion at work, and another person was in the running for the same job, and then by the middle of the week it's going to feel like they're winners and losers. But the beginning of the week, it's almost like you're waiting. I get a little bit of a waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's almost like everything's calm and peaceful, but you know that that's going to change. But I do get the sense like you're in the limelight this week, though. You're in the limelight this week. But by the middle of the week, you got the Six of Wands, which is victory. So again, you see this glorious like red bird, and he's all, the thing about the Six of Wands is it's in the traditional tarot, it's the rider on horseback coming back from the battle, and he's victorious, right? And he can do no wrong. He looks glorious. Everyone's singing his praises. What I'm kind of getting here, and actually you see the same kind of flowers. You see the same kind of flowers, except here the flowers are just starting to bloom. And then by the middle of the week, they're in full bloom. Yeah, guys, I really get the sense like you're trying to keep everything calm and peaceful. But by the middle of the week, you might have some kind of really big announcement that you have to make. And I think it makes you look really, really good. But the problem is that you feel like it's almost like you're thinking about how this news is going to break to people. Like, there's going to be some people who might not take this news so good. But I do get the sense that it's good for you, right? It's good for you. But it's almost like in the beginning of the I get a little bit of a calm before the storm in the beginning of the week. It's almost like everything's peaceful and quiet, but you're thinking about, okay, it's not going to stay that way. T-minus 2 days, But the middle of the week, you're really shining brightly. You might be getting some accolades. Again, you might be put in the limelight, like, okay, promotion, or again, maybe it's a relationship thing, and you're posting pictures of you and your honey, like, oh, look, we just got engaged, But that might drop the bomb on somebody, right? But by the middle of the week, you're looking good. I am definitely seeing a synchronicity with these flowers. I do think that you know what's coming, and it's almost like you're trying to keep things calm. And but the other thing I get is that this has been kind of kept on the down low for a while. I do think by the middle of the week, this is something that's been waiting to happen, because we've been pulling cards week after week, and we haven't had the Six of Wands come up too often. That really is a victory card. But by the middle of the week, you are going to have a moment of glory. It's going to be a really nice moment of glory. And definitely, if this is like a work thing, or if this is a job thing, I say enjoy it. Enjoy it. If this is your moment to shine, don't begrudge yourself that. I do think that whatever you were thinking about keeping the waters calm, that's important to keep in mind. But the what's interesting is that you've got this. The other thing I kind of see is, oh wow, guys, I'm just now seeing this. This is one bird. You see how his beak is there, and this is another bird. There are two people here. Yeah, guys, this could be some kind of an announcement that gets announced about some kind of relationship. That, and again, how the moment you post something like that, like, hey, look, I'm dating someone, and you haven't dated anyone in a long time, and then, like all, 250 of your closest friends and relatives, like folks you haven't even talked to, they're all liking your page, and it's like blowing up, it can become a thing. But this does look like two birds. Now, the other way that I can kind of read it here is that it's quite possible they're holding flowers in their beaks. So, and one bird is kind of higher than the other. So again, in the other scenario, it could be you winning out over someone else. And, and I almost look at that card kind of like, how when at the Olympics, when they award the gold medal, but then the person who wins the silver has to stand right next to you, and they were as close, like, they're one podium away from each other. They're almost the same height. but one is gold, one's silver. So the one person gets the big prize, the other person is second place. So that's possible. But again, if you're in first place and you've earned it, enjoy that victory. Now, but the one thing that I get here, this is where this gets a little tricky, is that at the end of the week, we've got the Five of Swords, which means here it has the keyword defeat. And here it very clearly shows a crown that's fallen off. Now, normally the Five of Swords has three people in it. It has two people walking away, and one person, kind of looking really smug, like, "Hey, I defeated you." I always think of that kid from The Simpsons, Nelson, when he's like, "Ah," I think of that. I hear that every single time I see the Five of Swords. But what I kind of see here is that underneath it, you got another major arcana. You got Justice, which in this deck is Judgment, and then you got the Nine of Cups. So I can kind of read this one of two ways. If you were the winner, and if you got a chance to kind of crow like, "Hey, I won," there might have been a few elements, because the other thing is that the commonality between the Nine of Cups and the Five of Swords is both of these characters can be perceived as looking smug. Like, "Hey, I won, you didn't," So what's happening is that if there was some kind of competition, or possibly if you did like post something, and I am getting a little bit of a caution from this. If someone's looking out like they're the winner, and you might, if the winner is you might be making a loser out of someone else. And what happens is, when you make a loser out of someone else, when you kind of, there's a great line actually from the first deck in the in Pride and Prejudice, where Elizabeth Bennet, Lydia Bennet gets invited to go to Brighton, but her sister Kitty is excluded from the invitation. Like, she's not invited. And so Kitty's like, wailing and, throwing herself, like doing that Disney princess, let me flail and throw myself on the bed and weep, and Lydia's like gloating. She's like, "Well, I get to go to Brighton, you don't. I'll send you postcards, Kitty." And, Elizabeth Bennet, being the older, kind of pulls Miss Thing Lydia up by her bootstraps and by her, her shoulder pads, and it's like, "Before you have not gotten," she's like, "Lydia, you have not gotten permission from our father. Before you crow too loud of your sister, you need," it's kind of like, "sit your ass down," But, Lydia does end up going, and that's the whole crew of the story, if you ever get a chance to watch Pride and Prejudice. But that's the energy I'm kind of getting here, is that, but the thing is, I'm seeing a very conscientious kind of effort here. The only other thing I can think of is that maybe the universe was kind of, you were eager for this accomplishment, like you wanted the praise, but the universe was kind of slowing you down, making you wait, because they wanted to keep things on the level, wanted to keep the peace. But otherwise, it was you thinking, "Oh God, I'm going to have to post this." And if what there, it's, I'm getting kind of winners and losers. But in the middle of the week, this is either you watching somebody win, or this is your energy. Please clarify, whose energy? The Star. Okay. Another major. Holy crap, guys. The root of all this energy is Major Arcana. And here I see planting the seed. And you see she's planting the seed. This looks like Lisa Simpson. I always think that. Or Maggie. She's planting seeds to grow something new. I'm seeing two cards of wish fulfillment here, though, guys. So, what I'm kind of seeing, and I'm sorry to give so many different scenarios, but there's a lot of people who watch this, so I have to be fair. But in the middle of the week, you're either watching someone win, and you're watching someone in their glory, and it's kind of making you feel second place. but what you do is you can take the seed of that victory and plant it, like just like we said with the Olympics. Even when you're a silver medalist, you still placed, right? You're still in the top three. Your name still goes in the record books, and you can always try again. So that's one way you can read it. So if you're watching someone else kind of come out on top of you, you can be mindful that there's still hope in the situation, right? There's still something to be achieved. Um, but if this is your energy, then it's like, oh my gosh, if this is your energy, you are the star. Like, you're the one everyone's looking at, right? And then the future is yours to grow. Like, you can. I always do also kind of see this victory as, how if you've won a prize or won something, how you look at that person like God. They could go to any college they want. They could go in and what are they going to do next? The sky's the limit. That's kind of the energy in the middle of the week for you. By the end of the week, with the Five of Swords, with the crown falling off, if this is your energy, you might be a little bit humbled by this experience. Um, my initial feeling when I first pulled the cards is I got the feeling that maybe by the middle of the week, like, you've been waiting for some kind of accomplishment, and by the middle of the week, you really get it. But you know how, and we all do this. We all do this. You know how sometimes when you get that accomplishment, you get a little bit carried away with it, like, because when you look at the Six of Wands, it really is a guy up on a horse, right? He's the star, and by the end of the week, it might be kind of a little bit of that morning after kind of realization, like, wow, that it might feel a little bit gray the day after. And what we're seeing here is with justice, which is judgment. You could be a little bit judged for the way that you presented yourself in the middle of the week. Some people might be some people might be saying that you were acting a little bit smug. Or it could be, again, if there was some kind of competition, other people might be kind of judging you a little bit. And again, the commonality between these two cards is someone being smug. Now, if you are watching someone win, like if you placed with the silver medal and someone else got the gold, that person might be crowing a little bit. They might be pulling a Lydia Bennett. Might be like, I'm going to Brighton. I'll send you postcards. But here you see it. You see, the other thing I get is with all this gold, the gold is kind of synchronistic with the gold bird there, the person that's on the bottom, who's not on top. So I get the sense, like, from this experience, you're already thinking, I think you are legitimately happy for the other person, but you're already thinking, okay, how can because what does a flower do? After it blooms, you can take the seed of a flower and plant them again to grow a new flower, right? So that's what I almost see you doing. It's like, okay, and we've all had those moments, maybe you see someone get congratulated for something, and you're happy for them, you're legitimately happy for them, but something deep inside makes you feel like you lost, like you came in second. And so what do? You immediately, you try to keep the happy emotions, but you take the seed of that flower and plant it again and say, okay, there's hope in this situation. I didn't rank for gold, but I ranked for silver. I can take that accomplishment and keep going, right? I can grow again. And then, but what's happening is by the end of the week, I'm seeing, because again, with the Five of Swords, there's winners and losers. By the end of the week, you might feel like, okay, you might be feeling this a little bit more. It's almost like when all the fanfare dies down, you really do feel like you a loser. Like you feel like this person really defeated you, or like really made you look small. But what I'm seeing here, especially with judgment and judgment and the Nine of Cups, is it's telling you that this is a blessing. You know how so many people talk about their failures, and it turned out to be something that uh, a blessing for you, even though you felt like failure. Like, what was it in the biography of Lucille Ball, like Lucy Ball, like I Love Lucy? She wanted to be a dramatic actress. She didn't even want to do comedy. She felt like it was too vaudeville. And she tried out for so many roles. And she was being turned away from like B and C movies. And she was a beautiful woman. And she had all the acting chops that you see. And it wasn't until she got turned down and that she kept being defeated that she decided to go in a new direction. That's kind of what I'm getting here, is by the end of the week you might feel a little defeated. You might feel like the loser in this situation, but just know that losing is not there to make you feel bad, because the other thing about justice or judgment, you see how half the body is gray like this, and then the other half is all golden, right? It's calling you to life, right? If at the end of the week you feel like you're in a defeated energy, please don't stay there. Please just know that there's a blessing. There's a silent blessing in this. And something about this defeat is going to make you see the light. It's going to make you see there's going to be some kind of aspect of this situation that you would not have seen if you had not lost. But one other way I can also read it is that if this is you, and by the middle of the week, you might be strutting your stuff a little bit. If you're strutting your stuff, try to check yourself. You are a superstar. You are a superstar. But I think by the end of the week, you might come under a little bit of judgment or scrutiny. Because someone might be calling you out, because again I am seeing that crown falling off, like you're losing your crown's falling off, right? And again, these two cards do have characters in the traditional tarot. They have characters that can be interpreted as being, like my stuff don't stink. So, we do want to watch that. But I get a real conscientious kind of feeling from this pile. So if anything, and I don't want to scare you, because honestly, you've got three majors here. I feel like the universe is trying to make this, if there is some kind of defeat that has to occur to get you in the right direction, the universe is trying to make it very easy on you. And you might very well see the blessing from this defeat right off the cuff. Like you might, feel the sting of defeat and then turn around and there's your blessing, right? But it is a calling. It is a calling. One other thing I kind of see with this all the time is that there's great TV shows that talk about how, like for instance, the creator of Xerox. The creator of Xerox actually was a stenographer. Back in the days before Xerox machines, they paid people to make physical handwritten copies of documents. Like it was, imagine, imagine handwriting, insurance policies over and over and over again in order to make a copy. And one of the stenographers, he had a family and he was the breadwinner, and he started to have really bad carpal tunnel. Like he suffered really bad hand spasms, and he couldn't continue in that line of work, and he was afraid it was going to make his family destitute. And so of course, you look at that and you think, God, this is a tragedy, what I'm going to do. And that failure, that hindrance, it pushed him to discover the technology that would become the Xerox machine. So I just want you to kind of look at it, because when you have majors, that's the kind of energy that we're talking about. It might feel like, God, I just got defeated, but you have opportunities under the surface here. And actually your oracle card, it says Spirit, and it says angels of the four directions. This is beautiful. And actually I did not pull out the book, but this talks about honing the power of the four angels, and it really talks about the angels being on your side. Like you see the light of the star here, and then there's an angel in judgment, there's an angel in temperance. I would just say also, again, I'm getting a sense like you're really protected this week. Anything that you go through, Even if you feel like it's humiliating, the sting is not going to be that bad. And I do think that your angels are there with you, and they're just trying to guide you in the right direction. I do also think that maybe either wishing on a star, or if you are feeling like really, if anything makes you feel a little bit on the gray side, either turn to your angels or your guides or your higher power and just ask them for advice. Please say, please help me, please help me to see what the good in this situation is. And either that, or if you are in a position of kind of being in a position, like, if you have an event that's going to put you in the spotlight, you can even turn to your angels and say, okay, please help me, please guide me where I handle this situation in the best way possible. Of course, let your light shine, receive recognition if you've earned it. But then also maybe say, okay, angels, be with me, and show, give me modesty when needed, you know. But either way, guys, I think this is a very good week. You have 3 of the most positive cards, and again, even at the end of the week, look for that silent blessing, because it's really going to be there. It's really going to be there. All right. So last but not least, we've got the Spacious Tarot with the beautiful raw rose quartz. I've missed this deck. I need to pull it out more often. All right, beginning of the week. Oh my goodness. And then middle of the week, middle of the week for my pile 3s. Pile 3s always feels like a real spiritual pile. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the number 3. Pile 1 got 3 3s, but middle of the week, please. This is really calling out. Oh my goodness, Temperance again. 2 of Wands. Okay, there's a lot of balance going on here. Okay. And the Star. Sorry, I'm kind of sensing where I feel like this needs to go. Okay, please clarify the Star for the end of the week. One more card. Okay, and let's go ahead and get your Oracle card. Okay, we'll go with the top card. I'm really drawn to take both of these cards, and actually when I was shuffling, I am also drawn to, I'll go ahead and mention it. Oh, no, here I found them. Okay, I don't mean to have a million cards in this spread, but I just kind of instinctually, but these really kind of flipped out as well. All right, I'm just kind of getting a vibe here. Wow, okay, in the beginning of the week, you got the Explorer of Cups, which is the Knight of Cups, and then we got the High Priestess, which is one of my favorite cards in this deck. But what I'm really getting is that I feel like in the beginning of the week, the first thing that I kind of heard, and I don't channel, but I kind of heard going deep, diving deep, like a deep dive. And I love the gradient on this card. The light kind of doesn't do it justice, but you see how it's almost like he's going from shallow waters all the way to the bottom. He's searching for that cup, right? Searching for that cup. And the High Priestess is really a gorgeous, gorgeous deck. you see the ocean, and then you see the moon inside of the conch shell. And the conch shell, the meaning of a conch, the spiritualism behind a conch shell is so deep. It really talks about how first off, they always say you can hear the ocean in a shell, but it has some very deep spiritual meanings. And I feel like over the weekend and by the middle of the week, the other thing is you got three major arcanas here, four. You got four by the end of the week. Um, but I think of by the beginning of the week and starting over the weekend and beginning of the week, I feel like you're going to be diving really deep. I'm getting with the Explorer of Cups. I'm not getting. Normally, the Knight of Cups, I kind of think of the Romeo. I kind of think of the ladies' man, the guy, the grand gesture. But what I'm kind of getting here is I'm getting more of like you feeling like you're on a spiritual journey. Like I feel like you're really kind of you're. I feel like over the weekend and by the middle of the beginning of the week, you're gonna feel real spiritually in tune. It's almost like you could be connecting either you could be connecting emotionally with either spiritual concepts. Maybe you're meditating a lot. Maybe you're reading books about spirituality or astrology or something like that. But I feel like you're diving deep to find yourself. Because the other thing about knights is that they go on missions, right? They're explorers, and that's very good. I like the way that they call it the Explorer of Cups. They go out in the world and they experience things to develop themselves in their element. And the element of cups is water, and water is emotions, it's depth, it's soul. And I just feel like, and especially with the same coloring here, like you see how the cup is like the same colors as the shell, you're going to be seriously in tune, guys. I don't know. Again, I every single time I read for pile 3, I feel like I get the strong sense like this pile, you guys are spiritually evolved. Like maybe you read cards, or maybe runes or divination, or maybe you could be spiritual in other ways, like just prayer or meditation. I just get the sense, and the thing is, it's almost like whatever you're doing week is working. If and I've been there. I've had several times in my life where I've had times in my life where I feel completely out of sync with the universe, and then there are times when I feel like I am connected, like I am just like all of the energy, because it's a conduit. The energy is you are of the stars, you are made of stardust. So the all the energy comes down and channels through you. And when you don't have any blocks, like when your chakras are clear, or when you really feel like in like an open channel, that's when you get this kind of combination. But with it being a knight, that's not a king or a queen. But what I'm getting is that you're doing activities to get in that zone. Either that, or the universe is really, I feel the other thing I kind of get is that the universe is calling to you. You know how I keep thinking, when you put the shell to your ear and you hear the ocean in the shell, the universe is kind of trying to direct you on where to go to feel more spiritually in tune, like to and I do get the sense that you're on the right track. Like maybe you're and it doesn't even have to be like new age stuff. Maybe you're listening to music, maybe you're playing music. There was a lot of music in the first deck. Maybe you're writing poetry, or you're just kind of doing, journaling, like stream of consciousness. Maybe you're drawing. But I do get the sense that I get the sense that this is I keep getting a sense like you're trying to find yourself. You're trying to find yourself, or you're trying to get that connection, to you're trying to sense what is beyond the veil, right? Which is what the high priestess does. She understands the 3D world, she understands the real world, and she understands the bigger purpose of things in the 5D, like the upper realms, the spiritual realm. So when something happens on a physical, real world, what we can see, hear, see, feel, touch level, she doesn't get upset because she knows the higher purpose behind what's going on, or she senses it, or I get that through symbols. I see that through symbols. Sometimes when I'm feeling anxious or upset about something, like, why is this happening? Then you get quiet, you get still, you get centered, and the universe will explain to you why. It's going to be okay. There's a plan. There's a plan. Just trust. But here I almost get the sense like you're on a mission to get that connection. You're on a mission. You're looking to do things to help find, to help get you into that spiritual attunement. The other thing that I get is that I do almost get like I feel like this sense like you're questioning your spiritual purpose, or you might be trying to do things to explore. Um, Yeah, I get this sense like you're just trying to define yourself spiritually, or you're trying to. I'm getting a feeling like, okay, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And that's what you kind of do during the nights are kind of what we call the early 20s through the early 30s. It's kind of like your wandering years. When you go out and do things, explore things. When you go to college, when you take advanced classes, and with it being the Knight of Cups, it is almost like you painting to feel a connection to to God or the spirits, and or you writing poetry, or you meditating, or you're trying to explore your connection spiritually. But I do keep hearing the phrase like find myself. What's my purpose? I just want to, and you're doing deep dives to do that. You're diving deep to do that, to make that discovery. And it's like you're not afraid either. You're not afraid. It might feel a little deep, Getting into high priestess energy, that's a little intense. That's very intense, because not to freak anyone out. Everyone always talks about the opening of your third eye, and you're like, oh gosh, that sounds painful, right? But sometimes it does. It is like a spiritual awakening, and I don't see that happening on Monday or anything like that. But I do see you not being afraid to try to to go in search of that, of what that means to you, or what would bring out about that development in yourself. Now, by the middle of the week, you got yet another major arcana. You got Temperance, and this is a really beautiful one. This is fire and ice, and in the middle, it makes that air, right? It's that balance, that vapor in between. So what I kind of get is um, the commonality is that there's water here too, right? The other thing I see is with the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is like having a choice, but it's also knowing the side that you want to be on, knowing what you kind of know what you want to do. In this deck, it's kind of interesting because it looks like, kind of looks like a good wand and a bad wand, right? Um, and I do get kind of like, I'm getting a sense like this is an internal kind of thing with you. In the middle of the week, you want to stay balanced, but it's almost like I am getting a little bit of like internal conflict in the middle of the week. With the fire and the ice, it's quite possible that your emotions might be fluctuating a little bit. Again, you're trying to ground yourself. You're trying to stay centered. You might actually be reading some meditation books or something like that, because your emotions might be feeling a little up and down, and that's okay. We've all been there. The other thing that I kind of get is that when you're kind of searching for your spiritual purpose, sometimes that can make you feel a little bit lost. And sometimes that does make you feel a little bit up and down because you're confused. You're like, which way do I go? Which wand do I go for? The other thing that I kind of get with this is that I think that you might have a few moments of feeling a little fiery, and then feeling a little bit cold. And I think you're balancing it. I think you are gonna level it out. But I do think it's almost like it's gonna take effort, right? It's gonna take effort. Like you're feeling a little bit up and down. Um, it could be with family or with coworkers. Like one minute you might be feeling a little like angry or a little snippy, and then the next minute you might be coming across a little cold and withdrawn and like a little distant. But then I think you catch yourself in the middle of the week. You're going to catch yourself and you're going to just say, okay, here, warm it up a little bit, or cool it down a little bit. The other thing that I kind of get here is that um, with it being fire and ice, I think there might be a few moments where you might feel, um, especially with the Two of Wands, in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, one of the rods is bolted to the wall and the other one is in his hand and he's holding a globe. So it's very clear, like one of the rod is not going anywhere, and the other one is ready, ready to for travel. I do kind of get this energy sometimes of being those. You know how when you get into those antsy moods, it's kind of that, throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I definitely have a few moments where I'm just like, I'm really ready to make some kind of radical choice or some kind of radical decision. I mean, nothing too crazy, but it's almost like, you know, one minute you're like, yes, I want to go with this, and then the next minute you're like, oh God, I shouldn't. 5 minutes ago I really want to go with that, and now I've totally done a 180. So I do think that you're going to be teeter-tottering a little bit. The other thing I do kind of get, and this just looking at it with the good wand and the bad wand, you might have a little bit. The other thing I kind of get is you might have a little bit in the middle of the week. You might have a little bit of that angel on the shoulder and devil on the shoulder. But I do get the sense that it's just because you're feeling a little anxious or antsy. You honestly might need a little bit of a change of scenery if you've been, if you've been working extended periods of time. Maybe you just need a break. But I think you are going to keep it balanced. You're not going to do anything crazy, but I do think that you're going to be purposefully managing those emotions. And the other thing with temperance is that this is kind of with the help of the universe. So if you do feel like you're having moments of feeling up and down, you may want to kind of put out a prayer or just take a minute to kind of take those deep cleansing breaths, like breathe in for 10 seconds and then breathe out for 5 minutes. Actually come back to center and focus and be in the moment. Because I do kind of get the sense like you're going to have the choice between something, and you don't want to do the temperance ensures that you're going to keep balance, like you're going to make a level decision, but you are going to be tempted to go from extreme to extreme. But the moment, again, the moment that you catch yourself being too cold, you're going to warm yourself up. And the moment that you catch yourself being a little too fiery, you're going to, you're going to take it down a notch. So, and that's good. That's very balanced, guys. That's very mature. Now, by the end of the week, this is interesting energy. You got yet another major. You got the star, and this is one of my favorite stars. So gorgeous. It's almost like you're laying out in the woods, looking up at the North Star. It's so cool. But underneath the star, we've got the Nine of Swords. And then, this is interesting. These two cards really wanted to flip out. But underneath the Nine of Swords, you've got the Elder of Pentacles, which is the King of Pentacles. And then you've got the Lovers. You got the Child of Cups. And you got the Five of Swords. So what I'm really getting here, guys, is that the by the end of the week you got a lot of worry going on. Like I see that you're very worried about something. Look at this poor little scared bunny. He's got like all these swords. He thinks he's gonna be shish kebab, right? And it's absolutely terrifying. The look on his face, he's just paralyzed, right? Paralyzed with fear. He's just and it's funny, I actually had a few bouts of this type of anxiety earlier this week. It's like, have you ever had those weeks when you're trying not to worry about stuff? And it is almost like a free-floating anxiety. But here, I really do get the sense that there's some kind of situation that you're worried about. And what it's telling you is like the crown, the top card is the star, which means that everything's going to be okay. The star comes after the tower. It is the most positive, next to the sun. The sun and the star are the two most positive cards in tarot. So what it is kind of telling me is that I think that I think you're keeping really balanced. I think you're leaning on your spirituality and staying really balanced. But something is going to be stressing you out by the end of the week. You're really going to be worried. You're going to be ruminating about something. And the ruminating about something really appears to be some kind of family thing. We've got the Child of Cups, which is the Page of Cups. So this is almost like this is like a little brother or sister, a little sibling to your knight from the beginning. But what I'm really kind of sensing here is that with the Lovers, which is such a beautiful card, it's like the twin flame. It's so pretty. And the Elder of Pentacles. You might be either really worried about money, like you might either be worried about someone providing for you. So, and I don't mean to make this sound like, so patriarchal, but this is kind of how I'm reading it. Assign the genders as they resonate. But with the Lovers and the Elder of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles is the provider. Like, he's the financial provider, and he definitely takes care of his family. And here, with it being the Lovers, it seems like either a love partnership, boyfriend, girlfriend, could be married, could be engaged. But I think there's some kind of worries about a partner, in some kind of love situation. And it might have to do with a child. What I'm kind of seeing here is with the Five of Swords, and fortunately you kind of see like a vulture here. What I'm kind of seeing is that maybe you're either worried about a husband or a father who might be trying to, this does kind of look like a custody kind of thing. If you do have a child, this might be some kind of worry about money providing for a child, or you feel like somebody is going to try to take money from you, and it was some kind of love relationship. But these are such positive cards. The King of Pentacles is really the provider. Like, he's the person who wants to provide for his family. So, one other way I can kind of read it is that if you're the breadwinner for your family, if you're the breadwinner for your family, you might be worried, like you might be thinking that something bad's going to happen, or you're going to be defeated when it comes to some kind of custody of a child, or the only other way that I can kind of read this is that maybe you did do something kind of innocent. Maybe you fell for someone in kind of an innocent way, and this person is really taking advantage of that, where you're going to end up, you're worried, you're really scared about the money that's going to, you might be financially responsible for someone. But it definitely looks like some kind of father and child relationship, and the father is the breadwinner, or again, sign the genders as they resonate. But with the Lovers, this is like a love relationship. You have male and female and a baby. But then the Five of Swords is about like winners and losers. And then when you've got the Nine of Swords in the mix, it's like those sleepless nights. Like you're laying awake worrying about how this is going to turn out. But what it's telling you is everything's going to be okay. The star is shining above you. Like, it's almost like, you're waiting for these daggers to, you're laying awake at night, worried, ruminating. But really, if you just, if you're laying awake at night, look up at the stars, just focus on the stars, almost what it's telling you, let the star lull you to sleep, because, but the only other thing I can think of is that this could be a situation where you're afraid of someone using their financial power. It could be like could be the father of your child, and they have more money, and they're going to use that to their advantage, or you're afraid they're going to use that to their advantage. The only other way I can read it is that, maybe you're just up at night, just kind of worried, about how you're going to pay certain bills, or you don't want to. I see it's like we're afraid of failing a family. We're afraid of failing a family, or, or. Yeah, the Five of Swords is always really interesting energy. It is very quite blatantly someone who wants to win. Someone who wants to win, and at all costs. It's winning at all costs. So I think that's a fear. That's a fear that you have, that someone's going to do that to you. But here, this is really interesting, guys. Your two oracle cards, you got cycle, and you see increase. And what you see is, you see this little path to a mansion, and on the side of the road there's these big gemstones. And then the other card, and I was really drawn to take both cards, is it says events, and then it says deception. Now, what's interesting is that this also is kind of talking about money, like the King of Pentacles. The other thing is that bear, that Papa Bear, is standing in front of a mountain, and mountains mean challenge. So maybe you've worked really hard. You've surmounted a lot of challenges to get where you are, or to earn your money. But what I'm almost kind of sensing here is that, especially this card really looks like an office environment. I know this sounds funny, guys, but maybe you're afraid of some kind of scandal or some kind of gossip. The other thing that guys, I never even thought about this. What? It could be that you might be afraid of something coming, some kind of news coming to light that might tarnish your business reputation. Because the other thing is, the King of Pentacles is a real Capricorn kind of energy, and Capricorns totally pride themselves on their business image, like the way that the way that the world sees them. They do not like having any skeletons. They don't like their skeletons in the closets being aired. And the irony is that Capricorn also rules skin and bones. And teeth. So that's why anytime you have a weirdo dream that you have teeth falling out, that's like being afraid. That's like a Capricorn's worst nightmare, because that's like fearing that you're going to lose reputation or money or status. And that's what I'm getting here, guys. You're up at night. Something about the end of the week. You might feel like afraid that someone is gonna. This might be for a few of you, because I don't see any cards here that talk about like marriage. It could be that you have a baby, and there might be something a little bit. And believe me, don't take this the wrong way. I think all children are blessings. And honestly, I think the surprise ones are like the biggest blessings of all. I always feel like the surprises are like the best kids ever. But you might, there might be like a little one in the mix here. And if it came out that you had either a child out of wedlock, or or something like that, you're afraid how that's going to make your reputation look. And you've recently kind of you're kind of in the limelight a little bit more than average, because maybe you've gotten some promotions, maybe people really look up to you, and you're really afraid that something is going to come out that's going to make you have a fall from grace, especially right as you've been earning more. The other thing that I kind of see from this, and just to throw it out there, it doesn't have to, again, if it doesn't resonate, leave it by the wayside. But with all this deception and this talking, maybe you are you're either earning more at money, and people are starting to talk a little, like, okay, well, they got a promotion, I haven't gotten a raise, it might be a little bit of that. Like, you might be getting some attention, you might have a few haters at the end of the week, or you might be afraid of that. The other thing that I kind of see with this is that it's possible that maybe you're making more money now, and somebody might try to, with child support or something like that, someone might try to take that money or be like, oh, okay, you're making more money, now you're going to pay me. Um, but this is, because the Child of Cups is such a beautiful, sweet energy. And the saddest thing about this combination is anytime anybody tries to use, like the, to use that as like a power play, because that's the other thing, the Five of Swords are power plays. That really, it always upsets me when I see combinations like that. Sometimes it's a little unnerving. It's like, okay, really, can't we just be adult about this? It's a joint responsibility. Can we handle this very maturely? Talk about the needs of the child, put the needs of the child first. But also, I do just kind of see that this because it's the Nine of Swords, this could quite potentially just be complete straight up fear. Like, again, Nine of Swords is such a rumination energy. It's what you're afraid is going to happen. It's what you're fearing is going to happen. And there's so many great quotes that talk about this. I think even, was it Einstein? I don't remember, but someone had once said that, of all the things that I feared would happen, like the worst case scenarios, like the things that kept me up at night, not a single one of them ever occurred. And you think about that. You think about, just take a minute to, that's part of the way that you can stop that circle of negative thought, is by telling yourself to, can kind of almost pull yourself out of your body. That's the other thing you can do, kind of pull yourself out of your body and pretend like you're looking at yourself. And just catch yourself in the negative cycle. Be like, okay, why are you doing that to yourself? Why are you stirring up all these really horrible thoughts? There could be a potential of threat. Maybe someone is not being real honest with you. It could be in a work environment. There might be a little bit of the, water cooler talking, but I don't think, if you are dealing with someone who is trying to, put you in kind of a spot, try not to worry about it. It's with the star crowning the end of the week. I do see that you are going to be worrying about it, but you've got some beautiful energy here. The Page of Cups is such gorgeous, gorgeous energy, and it does seem like, the other thing is that it doesn't matter what you've done. If you stand up and say, okay, yes, I'm responsible for my actions, but for every one bad or quote unquote bad decision you make, you could have 100 good decisions. There can be plenty of things that you did right. So just try to remember that, and try to stop. The other thing is that if you really are caught in that horrible hamster wheel of just worrying and, like, paralyzed ruminating, go ahead and try to delve into something that really will distract you, because there's nothing that you can do. If you can't do anything about it, if it's 3 a.m. and you're staring at your ceiling just worrying, and you are in your bed, there's nothing you can do about anything when you're laying in your bed. The only thing you can do there is sleep. So if it's really plaguing you, try to get up and do something that occupies your mind. Like play some Jenga, pull out the solitaire on your phone, some of those, any word games that you want, any of those little games on your phone, something that will, activate your mind. Do a craft, do something that really gets you engrossed, involved, so you can actually check out of that fear, out of that anxiety for a while, because that going on long term is not good for you. It wears down your body. But I see that you're going to be wrangling with that a little bit. But the star is shining above you. So just know everything is going to be okay. Everything that is going on is going to be okay. And definitely with the Five of Swords and the deception, you might have a little bit of a rotten egg around you, but the rest of the energy is so positive and you're a balanced person. You're a balanced person. So you're not going to take any crap. And the other thing is that the universe isn't going to let you take any crap either. So the universe has your back. The universe has your back. So, but wow, guys, oh my gosh, that was a powerful week. Every single time I say that, good night, I go into the reading, I'm like, whoa, just whoa, like whoa. But I thank you so much for joining me. I am going to try to get out another special video soon. It's been a little bit of a slow going week, so I am pretty busy in the day life. But I will try to get another special video out soon. For all who have subscribed, we are more than 200 subscribers. I am so grateful. I am so grateful, and I thank you very much. I thank every single one, and everyone who clicks on my videos, everyone who checks out my channel. Thank you, thank you. So I wish everyone a good week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.